like I said. Now the channel, you need this for Hangouts, right? It's the thing that actually hosts a Hangout. This is what.
Hey crew, how are ya? Listen, this is very quick. What it is, it's about is the continuing Google Plus story and the Google Hangout story as it continues to grow as a live streaming platform. Now, I'm a follower of these two guys here, Nick Lapolia and Zane Miller. Now, Nick is a really cool dude. I mean, I really like the stuff he comes out with. It's he runs a company, Red Zebra Inc., but it's more known as Simple Video Pro. He's hooked up with some of this, or newer stuff that's coming out with the Explainio video maker and all this sort of stuff, But look, I like the Simple Video Pro program he's got. It allows you remote video management, and yeah, it's a really cool program. And the guy, Zane Miller, look, man, he's a cool guy. He's got some really good stuff going on, which just makes it pertinent to what this community is about here. Is Google Hangouts for entrepreneurs. Like I had I still do have a pretty shitty time with trying to get bandwidth working, but I've still been playing around with it. But these a couple of hangouts that they've gone get some really good information. So all I'm doing is passing it on. I've actually just chopped it up a little bit because this one was like a 3-hour bloody recording, So I've chopped it down a little bit. Anyway, look, leave it at that. Catch up either on the end or in the middle somewhere. All right, enjoy.
Where it broadcasts from within your YouTube channel. And then also, this is where, I know I'm just kind of making up this term, these are where your Hangout replays live, right? Hangouts webinar. I'm trying to make this term go, but I don't know if people are gonna run with that, but that seems like the best term, right? Because again, we're like everybody here, like no one's being shy here, right? Like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna be this philanthropist and I'm just giving everything away. No, we want to figure out how to use Hangouts to sell stuff, right? All right, cool. So if that's the case, then what's the best platform to model after? Well, obviously GoToWebinar. It's been around forever. So how do we use things like Hangouts to duplicate what we do with webinars? Again, it comes back to this event page. And the channel is what will actually be broadcasting the message through, right? Like all the stuff that I talk about with Google Plus is nothing more than just like a face. It's a host. It's where you can place content, right? What's actually happening is that the YouTube channel is broadcasting your stream live, and with the power of YouTube being able to be embedded anywhere, you can post that stream wherever you want, which makes tools like Webinar Fusion so powerful. Because you say, oh, okay, we'll take this stream and put it here, and we're just basically chopping up bits and pieces of how Hangouts work and then arranging it in the way that we want. Again, an event page is just the way that I prefer to do it because that's just how I prefer to do it, right? A lot of people disagree with me, and there's no wrong way to do it. Now, your Google Plus page, this is your business presence. As I discussed in session 1, no one knows, like the end user doesn't know that your Google Plus profile created a Google Plus page. They don't see that connection. Your business page can operate exactly like any other Google Plus profile out there, right? In fact, it's very hard to tell the difference between a Google Plus page and a Google Plus Google Plus profile, right? So again, your Google Plus page is your business presence, and that's the administrator. It's the brain that actually controls what happens with the YouTube channel. So the community, again, this is optional, but basically, again, it's one of the first places that you should share content in your Hangouts and videos because that's where people from Google Plus are going to go. And it's also a great place that you can refer traffic to on YouTube. If you don't have a specific call to action yet, like go buy this product or go buy that, or maybe it's just maybe you want to make a video that isn't a sales video and you just want to make sure it's like it's content driven and say, hey, this is great content. You need to know that I'm an expert here in XYZ. Well, then instead, if you don't have anything to sell, then refer them to your public community on Google Plus, where you're going to be, where you will also be putting all of your archived content, so that if they're going to go somewhere, they're going to go to another place that you control, and then from there, you now have two different places where you can continuously start a conversation with your audience, right? Now again, it's totally optional. You don't have to, but I make the community and I make it public just because there can be one more public thing that Google likes to see and can rank to benefit my business. Is this making sense to everybody, right? And I ask because we've got the presentation here, and there's still some questions about how they on the right hand side, and it's more of a watch the video and your chat's on the right. But once we hit stop broadcast, then basically the live broadcast turns into the replay, i.e. just the regular YouTube video, and then all the comments move from the right down to the bottom. But again, I'll be showing you that a little bit later. So good. Getting a lot of yeses, yeppers, James says. Makes sense. Live event. Oh, right, yeah. Optional, this is also where you make offers, right? Like if you don't have an offer, you're pushing everybody to the community, that's one of the first places I would go to say, hey, I've got an offer you should check out, because they're joining the community because they want to see more of what you've got, right? So that's community, event page, fastest, easiest, most SEO-friendly way to invite people to a Hangout. Again, it's worked great as a backup plan. Like, oh no, like I don't know what's going on, but there's going to be a bunch of people who leave, and it's like, oh, no problem, just send them this link, and they all jump over, and no one knows the wiser, right? But at the same time, it's also where people can register, watch, comment, and even buy your product or service. Because I'm going to bounce over here to session 2 and show you this screen, right? Super fluid, and you can see right here. In the details section, you have an area where you can put in your website, and you can put in a couple of other different links. So when I say that you can actually sell a product on an event page, you can, because there's an embeddable link right there on the page that says official website, right? So Google's helping you out on that aspect. So back to the presentation. So there's the event. Hangout, the easiest way to generate video fast. This is what I love the most. It's not just a webinar platform. In fact, there are times more often than not that I will sit down with somebody and we'll end up doing an unlisted live Hangout on air. And it's basically, well, think about it like this. When you want to make a video, you go to whatever room you're going to film in. You should put up your tripod and your camera or your webcam or whatever that may be, and then you talk to the camera, and then you upload your video to YouTube. But you probably have to do some editing and stuff, so you do that, and then it gets uploaded to YouTube. An unlisted live Hangout on air is basically that same thing, except it's digital, and it's like adding Skype to it, right? So imagine instead you're on a Skype call with somebody that you are very impressed with. You like the cut of their jib, you think that they've got some interesting expertise, and you say, hey, can we record this Skype call, because I think I can do something with this later, right? I'm sure all of you have heard that before. You've heard that strategy of interviewing people and recording the conversation. Well, now we've streamlined the process with Hangouts. So again, don't confine your mind to a Hangout being just a webinar thingy, right? It can also act as your own digital studio. And what's even better is that you can have up to 10 people in a Hangout. Like right now, you can't see the thumbnails at the bottom because I'm using a specific app to fix that. But right now, what we have in the Hangout, the panelists are me, Nick, and another computer. Those are the 3 panelists. It's basically the host, the person who's like broadcasting the Hangout or webinar, even if we want to use that term as well. Person who's the host, and then you can have up to 9 other panelists. So a total of 10 people in the Hangout, and now we're flirting with the concept of not even needing to make our own content. if you can get a bunch of people, a bunch of experts in a live hangout on air with you, it's just a simple matter of knowing what you want to talk about, clicking start broadcast, and then saying, okay, guys, you're on. And that's it. It's being literally a publisher, or not a publisher, a producer, like with television, right? You've got the executive producer, and then there's like the production staff, and their job is to make sure that the end user, whether they're watching it live or whether they're watching it as a recording, it doesn't look like anything. There's no sorry, how do I put this? It's everything behind the curtain, right? Like no one wants to see the production happening in the background. They just want to watch the show, right? So that's what produce ads. Again, I spend a lot of time basically recording off air with clients, and then we repurpose it in certain ways that it can be uploaded to a YouTube channel, or we can repurpose it where we have a bunch of pre-recorded videos that are strung together, and it's not through Hangouts. We use a different way where we can take a bunch of pre-recorded videos and produce them as a live broadcast. All right. So this, I believe, again, everything that I talked about last week, and everything that I'm going to be talking about next week. Yes, there is one more session for all of you. It all comes to this point. It all comes back to Hangouts, because I don't care who you are, you always have to have video if you're going to do video marketing. Now, I know that may sound pretty obvious to many of you, but I've just been shocked with how many products out there that boast that you don't need video to do video marketing. And that, like, to me is one of those things where I was genuinely shocked. I'm like, wait, what? I've been to a Hangout, get a bunch of people together, and the end user doesn't even have to see their faces. They're coming for the content. So we can even pre-record the audio in the Hangout, and then get somebody to make slides for a presentation, and then take both of them, stitch them together, boom, you've got a powerful video that gives people something to watch, right? So with that in mind, Bruce, we'll get to that question in a little while, because it is a good question. So the presentation that you're seeing right now and the one that you'll see whenever we do the next one, all through Google Drive. This, in fact, I'll hit escape, and you'll see it looks just like PowerPoint. It's the free version of PowerPoint just through Google Drive, right? So you've got your slides on the left and your main screen on the right, and all of this was all free, and that's what you're seeing. You can also see that there's a share button, just like Google Docs. You can share this. Nick was asking what my presentation looks like. I just clicked the share link and said, here you go. Now you can check it out, right? Boom. Now we're back in. This is why I love Google's tools so much. It's so easy, it's so fluid, and once you get the hang of it, you're able to well, in my opinion, being a nerd, makes you look like a wizard. Everybody looks, wow, you're so cool, right?
Yeah, it works great for collaboration too. You can be working on a document like with your partner in another country. Mm-hmm. As you make changes, Google Drive shows the other person the changes. It's completely awesome. So Zane's right. Yeah. If you haven't looked at it, take a look at it. Lots of stuff there.
Yeah. So quick question to all of you. Is there anybody in here who does coaching or wants to do coaching of any kind? Doesn't have to be internet marketing, like a coaching that you're very passionate about, even have so much content we don't even know what to do with it next, right? And it's all recorded. Now, for those of you who are coaches, right, think about that same thing. An unlisted live hangout on air means that that only the people who have the link can see it, right? Again, my event page that you're all looking at right now, that event page is public, but the live streaming hangout, that's unlisted, right? So the only way that you can actually see this hangout that you're watching right now is if you're on this page, because the link wasn't given to anybody else, and it's not in the search engines either, right? Now, if this were an event that I wanted to have everybody know about, then I would be making the hangout also public, right? So this is the power of Google Plus here, right? It's giving you different degrees of exposure, right? So public, you want to get everybody in. Unlisted, you only want certain people in. And you can even do private, which we can talk about later. But coming back to the coaching, if you send somebody a link, and I'll show you what that link looks like in just a second. This link, it's the link that I sent to Nick that pulled him directly into the Hangout. Unlisted live Hangout on air, you get everything set up, and you send your coaching student this link. They jump into the Hangout, and now it's basically a glorified Skype call. Now, when I do coaching, this is exactly what I do, but I turn off my camera because I say, listen, like we don't need to see each other. If you want to turn your camera on, by all means, but I look like a hideous beast. Oh no! Or I don't want to have the camera on. So so we get in there, and I explain to them, hey, this is how we're going to make sure that this is a very effective coaching call. I'm going to explain to you how this is going to go. I'm going to click start broadcast after I explain this, and then only the best pieces will be recorded. And then just before we end, I'll say, is there anything else that you want me to answer while you have this recording, and you can review this later? And they say no. Say, okay, great. Click stop broadcast. Now, there you go. You have a YouTube link that's only shareable between you and the client. Now, of course, the client isn't going to want to share that with other people because that's that's time that they paid for. So what this also does is it's very, very convenient for when, unfortunately, sometimes coaching clients do this, right? They go, well, I'm not making the money that I want to, and this is all your fault, and I want a refund. Well, you are the one who originated the Hangout in the first place, so you shared the link with him, but you will always have the video on your channel. So you can say, well, client, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I went through all of our coaching sessions that were automatically recorded, and this is what happened, right? Now, of course, we don't want it to get to that point, but what I'm saying is that on the positive side, the student can go back and review anything, or if they have a question, you can go through, you can say, oh, we actually addressed that 30 minutes into the call. And then you can send them the YouTube link again and then add equals T and then the actual timestamp of the video. And when you send them that link, it'll take them directly to the point that you're talking about in the video. So they don't even have to scrub through it, right? So again, I want to open your mind to the different possibilities that Hangouts have, because a lot of you have been conditioned in such a way that Hangouts can be only a one-dimensional thing. Now, as a final point on this whole unlisted thing that I keep going on about, think of the consulting client, your client. Now also think of a meeting with partners, or a meeting with somebody that to mail for you. Like maybe they won't say, hey, buy this person's product, but if your industries are very closely related, or you're in the same niche, and you want to get this this person who knows more than you do. Like let's say I'm somebody that wants to get Frank Kern's attention. And I'm like, oh, we both talk about email and stuff. Like it's totally great. We both have long hair and we're both hippies and whatever. You know, if I'm convinced that we have similar audiences, but he still won't mail for me, I'm still going to go to him like on Facebook, and I'm going to drop that Hangout link and be like, hey, what's up? Frank Kern, this is my Hangout. You should totally check it out. Now, of course, that's obnoxious. I don't recommend it. But it's one of those things that, again, a lot of people don't realize live streaming broadcast, so we want to make sure and put that at the top of the listings. So what did we do? We didn't do anything. We haven't talked. We haven't made a video. We just scheduled a Hangout, and already our scheduled event shows up, or scheduled Hangout shows up at the top of the search engines. This happens all the time. There's nothing magic about it, folks. I will tell you exactly what it is. And it comes back down to not many people are searching for that. It's the highest, most relevant keyword, and it's a live streaming broadcast, right? It's not because it's a Hangout, it's not because it's YouTube Live, it's just because it's a streaming thing and it's a video, and YouTube and Google want those ranked up high naturally. So they're not prejudiced about whether or not there's actually content on it at this point. Is this making sense? Quick question just popped up. Can the audio only be extracted after Hangout is done, or can the entire Hangout, love the term, thank you. Can that be done? Yes. See, now here's something that's cool. We're gonna take a little sidetrack for just a quick second. Once the live broadcast is over, again, it just becomes a regular YouTube video in your video manager. And in your video manager, there's a little drop down you can click that says download MP4. So you can download it, and at that point, you can extract the audio from there. Let's see. I think. Let me see. Yeah, here. Let me do this real quick. I'm just going to grab I use this all the time. It's called clipconverter.cc, and now you'll also be able to see the links in action on the event page. I'm just going to drop it in here real quick. Boom. There it is. Okay. All right. So I just dropped a link in there. It's called clipconverter.cc. I've used it for many, many years, and it's basically a very low ad pop-up sort of site that lets you basically rip and download YouTube videos. And if you're in a pinch and you want to be fast and you don't have time to download your Hangout and then extract the audio from some other software, you can use clipconverter.cc, and you can choose. You can say, well, I want this as video, or I just want the audio, and they'll do it that way, right? Now, I know there's a lot of websites out there, but again, Clip Converter, I've used it for years. It's free, and it has the lowest amount of pop-ups on any other site similar to it, right? Because clipconverter.cc isn't the only website out there that downloads YouTube videos. The other reason why I like clipconverter.cc is I don't know why, but YouTube won't allow you to download more than 5 videos from your YouTube account at a time in a 24-hour period. I don't know why. It seems kind of weird to me, but there you go. If you're in a pinch, you gotta be quick. Just use clipconverter.cc, and you can just grab the URL of the YouTube video, and then from there, within Clip Converter, you can say, hey, this is video, or I want it to be audio. Simple as that, right? So there's the concept of the embed, explained to death as I usually do, right? And as a final point with embedding, you want to focus on relevancy, folks, because when I talk about embedding, I'm also talking about backlinking, right? The reason why you see some of these videos not some of them, all of them. The only way that a video can skyrocket in rankings in a competitive term, right? We're moving away from the lesser search terms, which are very, very easy to be found for. The higher search terms, the more backlinks that you have to your YouTube video, the better. Now, again, the beauty of embedding is that it's actually a backlink to your YouTube video, right? In the actual embed code, it refers to the link of your YouTube video, which is why Google accounts it for a backlink. But again, no one thinks about it that way. If you say, hey, will you backlink to my website? You're like, I don't know. But if you say, hey, here's a YouTube video that you can embed on your website and it'll help your customers, they're like, oh, yeah, sure, totally. I'll take a video all day long. But still doing tap into your audience and get people to interact with you. Do more of that and less of like, ooh, let me be on the first page. Because, well, not as many people are going through Google. Like, it's still huge. Everyone's using Google, but there's more resources. Google's not just the one anymore, which is why they had to do this. They had to say relevancy is important because they started losing users, right? Folks, Google is beholden to the same people that we are. We have to think about user experience because Google has to do the same thing, right? We can't be the people who just spam these people. We need to give them a good, wait for it, user experience, right? So this is like the circle of life, right? At the top, we have the profile. Everything starts with your profile, right? Your personal profile, and then you create a YouTube channel from your profile. So you're logged into your Google Plus account, just like your Google account, right? It's not just Google Plus. You can be logged into Gmail, and it's the same thing. A Google account is what is your main top level thing, right? Your Google account has Gmail and Google Plus and YouTube and whatever, right? So within your Google account, you have your Google profile, and Google wants that. Again, this is a refresher of session 1. You need to be who you are, just a human person. Your name, that's your profile. But you can create as many pages and name them whatever you want, right? So you start with your profile, you jump over to YouTube, and like I showed you in session 1, you can create a brand new YouTube from scratch, and it takes seconds, all right? It's super fast. Now, what's really cool is that when you create that channel, Google has already stepped in and said, you're also making a Google Plus page automatically. Like as soon as it's done, you actually have to check a box that says, I agree to the page terms, because it automatically creates that page. So you create that channel, instantly you have a Google Plus page, and your digital presence has doubled. Now again, if you want to add the community, your digital presence triples, and the page and community are very, very easy to maintain because you're only focusing on the channel. Again, folks, we're talking about video marketing, not social media marketing. Google Plus is just along for the ride, okay? So once you've made the community, you make an event page, because obviously you want to do a Hangout as soon as possible, right? So you create that event page just like you're watching right now, and you know all the reasons why I like it. And then you have the Hangout, right? You create the Hangout just like I showed you in session 1, and then you take that Hangout and you embed it, right? As you can see, the arrow goes back. It embeds back to the page, and then I embed the Hangout also on the event page. At that point, if I'm doing this for a client, that's my baseline, and then I say, hey, the Hangout, or this is ready, right? Especially because most of the time they don't want to do anything with Google Plus, which again isn't I don't care. It's my client. If they want it on their website, great. If they don't care, this is how I prefer to do it. So whatever. The point is that that big arrow points back to page that represents, like, it can be any page you want, including an event, including a community, a Facebook page, or whatever you want. That sucker can be embedded anywhere, right? So, Greg, we've already talked about that. You can't do a pre-recorded video in a Hangout. That's Hangouts only listen to one audio.
Hello,
it's only going to listen
everybody.
to your
Zane
microphone.
Miller here.
It's not gonna say, okay, we're going to ignore your microphone for a second. We're going to listen to your system audio. That's just how it is, right? So with that, we'll move on, because that's an interesting conversation to get into, because it's like well, you can't, but you kind of can, but that's not something we can cover. We're already an hour into this, right? Yeah, right? Now, again, a lot of experts will be like, you should do this or you should do that. I think that's incredibly arrogant to say, because I don't know your audience. I don't know who they are or what they respond to. I just know that you need to give them a good quality user experience, right? And then a pitch. Now, pitch doesn't always mean go buy something. Pitch means do something, right? Like my pitch is basically going to be something that I've been pitching the whole time. Learn this and get out there and do it. Like we're all pioneers here, folks. Like, people are going to be talking about the stuff that we do and say, okay, well, that's how they did it, years ago, but now we have to do it this way for whatever other reasons, right? So the data that needs to be gathered for whatever next thing that comes out is on our shoulders, right? So, folks, just know that there's no pitch. I'm not going to try and sell you anything, but I do want to sell you on the idea of getting out there and doing it as a review and interview. And I also believe those are the two best places to start, because it's after you start doing reviews and interviews that you start understanding more of the marketplace, and then you can start contributing your own voice and your own original content, like the things that are being talked about, but with your own spin on it, right? So if you're just totally lost, and again, I will be showing you how I do research to come up with more ideas than I can possibly handle, right? It's the reason why I call my business Info Spring Media, because it's like a spring of information. It just never stops. And it's because I have some very specific searching methods specific to YouTube that totally indulges that. I believe it's because I get to just go nuts and watch YouTube videos for no apparent reason, and then the ideas just start coming. So again, I will show you that research method in the next training. We haven't decided on that just yet, but Nick will keep you posted on that. So I will show you how to get more ideas if you're still struggling with the whole original content angle. But for now, folks, you can make gobs of money. And Nick, back me up. Like if you're doing just interviews and reviews about products and services, you don't have to think about anything else. You don't have to put any other original content or effort into it.
Yeah, no, I've seen people make products out of reviews that they've done.
Right.
And definitely I've seen people make products out of interviews that they've done if you get the right people. And it's kind of
as soon as Nick and I have decided on a day for the final session, session 3, where we're going to talk about specifically YouTube and how this all comes together with your channel. All I'll do as soon as I know that, I'll click the little drop down, duplicate event, and then everybody here who said that they were going, they'll get a reminder from Google Plus saying, hey, this is the next session. Just thought we'd let you know. How awesome is that, right? Interview you about your product. Then when you interview close rate with these people is because you're basically sending them a message saying that I want to interview you about the current product that you're selling. Oh yeah, they'll talk to you all day long about that. What they don't want to talk to you about is, hey, can I interview you because I don't really have that much of an audience. A host is looking at, but I just so happen to be looking at it as a panelist. So here's the differentiation. Right now, if the host is not clicked on anybody, then Google just listens for whatever's making the most noise, which is what created that disconnect for your audience, Kevin. Right? So it's your job, again, why I also encourage anybody who's doing this, that there should be producer, host, and then panelists, right? The producer is the person who starts the Hangout and for the most part doesn't need to talk but can talk, right? Like I participate with Colin every once in a while when he's like, hey, do we have any questions, or is there this, or is there that? So 99.9% of the time, it's just Colin. Every once in a while, people hear my voice with like a, hey, this and that, whatever, right? What a producer also should do, in my opinion, is since you have the capability to do screen share and things like that, as the host and the panelists are talking, if they're talking about a point, like let's say that, well, actually, we'll just do it right now. Nick, what are your thoughts about JVZoo? Real quick, just off the top of your head, right?
I think JVZoo is a fine platform to bring in affiliates and market your products, absolutely.
Right, and you know, there's
okay, so you're going over to JVZoo,
right? Is there any other tools that are like JVZoo that you can think of?
Oh, I personally like Warrior Plus, which is Mike Lance's platform. It gives us a lot more flexibility in the back end reporting of sales and information.
Mm-hmm. Right now, all of you know, right? Because Nick's taught you some pretty cool stuff about video editing and video marketing and whatnot. You know that when it comes to video, the more times that the screen changes, the better, right? So people, yes, they like the viewers like to see someone's face. True, the host and one is the panelist. So the host is basically pointing let me see, make sure I got this. Yes, so the host is clicked on this one, right? So you guys aren't seeing this in the. I'm trying to explain this to you, right? So the host is clicked here, right? And then as the panelist, I'm clicked here. So that way, it doesn't create the mirror effect.
Okay.
That's the best way I think I can explain it. I don't know. You got anything?
Well, I think what I meant was just to even get your screen to start sharing.
Oh, okay.
That's
I took that way off the rails.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Running down the path.
There's the more complex version. Again, the only reason why I'm doing this is so that I can show you the Hangout window. You don't need to show anybody the Hangout window at all, right? So, but to share screens initially, right, you just mouse over here into the apps and you click on this guy. Now, I'm already sharing screen, so if I click on this, it'll unshare the screen. So you click on this and another window will pop up, and that window will basically be asking you, do you want to share your full screen, or do you want
when you see, you know, when they're doing a newscast or something, some guys in the background going camera 2, camera 4, camera 3. You're deciding who's got the focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So which is also why, especially with something when there's more people, there needs to be one producer, and then there's the host. So the host can sort of give audio cues here and there, like, hey, so Nick, what did you have to say about that? Then of course the producer is like, oh, okay, I need to click on Nick's icon so that he can talk, right? So back to back to here, right?
Ralph had a question actually also.
Okay.
So Ralph was asking here, and one of the things I noticed is that I don't see an easy way to like just answer someone's specific question privately. You know, like I've got to just put in the answer and everybody sees it. So there's the ability to do private replies to people, and then there's a lot of other stuff that software like Webinar Fusion Pro that wraps around Hangouts gives you. For example, managing the scheduling and the reminder emails that go out, adding the people who register to the Hangout to your mailing list, like in GetResponse or Aweber. It also gives you the ability to put in offers. You know, there's an offers tab. There's different tools that you can use. I can put an alert across the bottom of the screen that I used last time. So there's added functionality to it. Now, doing the Hangouts native like this is actually pretty cool. I'd never done it before, believe it or not, because I always use some kind of software.
Wireless headset. There's the built-in audio with my computer, and then some other weird stuff that I don't know what it is. And then here's the camera, and then some weird virtual camera. I don't know what that is either. And then speakers. Again, that's the, I made sure that the microphone and speakers are coming through my headset so I can hear everybody. To double check, you can click this, play a test sound. I can hear that. I don't think you can. It's just the sound of a phone ringing. So anyway, and then this voice in studio. Don't worry about choosing studio. That's you don't need to worry about that at all. The only reason why studio exists was because when Hangouts first came onto the scene, we have Hangout Toolbox, right? I call the Hangout Toolbox the marketer's best friend because first thing we've got, this right here, this icon is the lower third. Now, Hangout Toolbox is an awesome app because it'll actually pull data from what. So if you jump in as a Google Plus page, it'll pull the name of whatever the Google Plus page is, right? Since it's me, my profile, the lower third is already entered as Zane Miller, but you can change it, right? See, I can say no, I don't want it to say that, but Hangout Toolbox grabs whatever the name of the page or profile that you are using Hangouts in, right? So if Nick opened up lower thirds, it would say Nicholas Lapola right there. And then you've also got a tagline you can put underneath it, and then when you flip that toggle to on, a little lower third shows up. But the reason why I didn't flip the toggle here is because the only time that a lower third shows up is when you have like your camera on. You can't have like a lower third show up if you're doing screen share or you don't have your camera on, right? So it's intended for talking head type style stuff. If you want to have a lower third, if you don't have a lower or if you don't plan on having a talking head, then this particular feature won't work for you. But most people do talking head stuff anyway. Then we've got here we've got some volume control stuff. I don't pay attention to this because there is another tool built into Hangouts that does volume control. And then you have this. This is the comment tracker. Now this is pretty cool, but it's only specific to public videos. I don't know what happens inside the inner workings of Hangouts, but Hangout Toolbox, for whatever reason, will not track comments if a video is unlisted or private. But if it's public, then all you got to do is take, it says add sources, right? If we click on this icon here. Oh, wait, no, I thought it was going to give an explanation. Okay. So basically, Comment Tracker, it will pull from any Google Plus post or the YouTube video's comments, right? So if everybody was watching on YouTube right now, I could take the YouTube video link and drop it into the comment tracker, and then it would start tracking the comments, and I could see it. And then even furthermore, which is why I like this so much, is that there's an icon that when you click on it, it will literally show the end user the question and the person who asked it, and it looks really sharp and clean, right? So this is one of those things that it just adds an extra level of user engagement, where it's like, oh, okay, Bob had a question here. Bob R. Zane, is there somewhere to set up the aspects of Google Plus Hangouts that's available in writing step by step, right? Now, if I was using the comment tracker, I would be able to display that comment and it would look very pretty. The only thing I don't like about it, like I said, is that it won't track comments on an unlisted video like what we have now. It will only do it with public videos. So if you're doing a public hangout, then you can definitely use this comment tracker. I hope they're working on it right now to be able to track unlisted comment or unlisted videos, right? And then that's pretty much it for the Hangout toolbox. Again, I call it the marketer's best friend because it has the lower third right here. And as you can see, there's some other things here. You can save presets. Now this is what I thought was pretty interesting. I would much rather use the Google Drive presentation thing like I was showing you earlier, but it is possible to upload custom overlays, right? So if you don't like the lower thirds, you can create your own custom lower thirds yourself and use the custom overlay instead. But that can be, like, it's not just for lower thirds, it can be for any picture that you would like. So what you're seeing right here in this saved presets was a demonstration of what you could do basically if you took all of your slides and saved them as images. You could upload them to this little saved preset section and then actually go through the slides of your presentation as the images built into Hangout Toolbox. But there's really no reason to do that, right? Because if you have screen share and you have access to Google Drive, then you should just do that instead of making it harder than you need to. I'm only showing you the example because it is possible if you want to make this whole cumbersome thing happen. But you'd have to learn before we could even get to the point where we'd say, okay, this is how you do the system audio and the microphone, which is why we're so focused on the live Hangouts on air. But if anybody tries to tell you that you can play video through a live Hangout on air without any extra software, because like you can do it, but you need like a mixing board and stuff, and you need to know more about like audio mixing and things like that, which is not, I don't think, is really our target market here. Right?
Well, the gauntlet has been thrown, and I'm going to figure out how to do it.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah. No, somebody needs to take that because it is possible, but live Hangouts on air is limiting us. Us.
No, I'm thinking of ways that it could be done with a little bit of hardware tweaking, but I'll test it out and then let you guys know what happens, because it's something I've actually wanted to do. And like I said, right now I just play it. I'm listening to you on my headset and I'm playing audio through my speakers, which is then going into the mic that's on my desk. So I can. I could technically play a video.
Yes.
Right? But
not
gonna sound that good because it's kind of echoey, right?
Yep. Well, and as we've said before, 50% of video is audio. So yes, it is possible, like Nick does, and of course, I think it's a good idea. No one thinks about the user experience enough like Nick has, right? So it's one of those things that I will be very frank with all of you. It's the simple fact that if you want to do that, then you got to use YouTube Live, but you're dealing with a pretty big barrier of entry with that stuff, which sounds like Nick wants to take that baton, so stay tuned.
Well, we'll see, because it's something I've actually been meaning to check out. I've got a couple ideas on how to do it.
But you might as well just show your presentation through screen share, and then you can time it, and you don't have to anticipate the timing of something you already recorded. But Ray, you're absolutely right. You could totally do that, right? And then Ralph says, for a webinar like this, I assume Hangouts is preferred. I think so, because you can produce the same exact effect of a webinar, but through a Hangout. And as long as you match the bandwidth expectations, right? You don't have other things streaming, and you don't have video streaming, then you have the same quality streaming and replay through a Hangout as you do with the GoToWebinar. Now, I do want to add this one piece though. As you've seen through this presentation, you've seen Hangouts go up and you've seen Hangouts go down, and you've obviously seen there's been some lag here and there based on people joining the Hangout and turning on apps and all this other kind of stuff, right? So if you eliminate all that stuff and put Hangouts next to webinars, they're the same, right? But webinars have been around longer. So here's what I propose. If you're on the fence about it, here's what you do. You use Hangouts to get comfortable. You mess around. This is your, as Seth Godin calls it, it's the thrashing around time, right? It doesn't have to be perfect on a Hangout. It can be whatever. It can be total garbage. It doesn't matter. It gets you going. And then you can use Hangouts to tweak your presentation, to make your delivery better. And then when it's ready, then you roll over into webinars because you know that thing's bulletproof, right? You know your presentation is good, you know that everything's good, and you're using a free software to help you get better so that when you do need to make the jump to purchase Webinar Fusion or GoToWebinar, or even if you want to present, if you have a thing that you want to present and you're going to be on a webinar, you have that presentation down and in such a way that that when the time is right for you to basically stand up in front of everybody, you've done enough practicing with bubblegum taped up, duct tape sort of looking presentation platform that in a couple of years will be even far better than GoToWebinar. But let's be honest, GoToWebinar has been around longer and has way more redundancy thingers or programming lingo. So if that's the case and you're still on the fence, use this as much as possible to get good and then start paying for other things, right? Start paying for the quality that you expect. This is free, so you kind of got to just take it in stride, right? When you start paying for stuff, that's when you can start complaining, but be ready for it. Make your presentation to the level of what you're paying for, and use something like Hangouts to get you there. Make sense?
Yeah, you can do that. I've talked to people who they make a little bit of money with their Hangout or whatever it is that they're trying. Maybe they're video marketing. They try something simple, they make a little bit of money, and then reinvest that into getting the bigger tools.
Exactly.
That's another way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I just jump in with both feet.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, no, this is great. And like someone was asking what we use for presentations, I use PowerPoint just because I'm used to it. But I've started to use Google Docs to actually create my presentations online because I collaborate with other people, and we can work on them at the same time. And then I export it to PowerPoint. But as Zane does, you don't need to even buy PowerPoint or anything, because you can use Google Docs. They call it slideshow or Google Slides.
Yeah, Slides or Present. I still can't remember which one it is.
I just looked. It's Slides now.
Oh, okay. It's Slides. This is the name now. Okay, whatever. Let's jump over here to live. Y'all can see my my screen. I'm looking at the YouTube video, right? Y'all can see this.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Let's stay on the. Okay. Yeah, we're good. So if I'm here in the comments down. Okay, that's taking forever to load. Okay, right up here in the URL, since I paused it at 3 hours, 19 minutes, and 14 seconds, I don't know why it's showing this now. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, so this is basically like the T equals. That's basically saying this is a timestamp. So if you send this link, it will jump to, it looks like, yeah, so 251, 251 minutes into it. So if we copy this and just open up another window, you'll see this will jump to that point, right? Oh, so it said, yeah, the 4 minutes and 12 seconds, that's what it was. So basically what I did is I copied the link when it said 4 minutes and 12 seconds, and it just grabbed that as a timestamp, right? Now, if you write a timestamp in the comments, like if I just say 30 minutes, like right here on the YouTube video, you can actually click on it, and boom, jumps to right there to 30 minutes in. So when I say that like the T equals or whatever, it's just a little extra extension to your URL. When you share it with somebody, you can say, hey, check this out, and this is the exact time that I want you to see the video at, right? Now what's cool is that on the actual watch page, the YouTube video, if you put in that timestamp like you saw, I just wrote 30 minutes, it becomes a clickable link. Unfortunately, that doesn't show up in the comments on the event page. But if it's anywhere else on Google+, like if you share the video on your Google+ profile and then somebody writes a comment like 30 minutes, then it'll do the same thing as watching it on the watch page. I don't know why they don't do it with the event page, because that would be really cool. But it is what it is, right? So anywhere else on Google Plus but the event page, you can put in a timestamp in association with a YouTube video, and it'll jump to that point. It works the same exact way on YouTube, and if those of you who are watching on the watch page itself, you could be dropping in comments of timestamps anytime you want, and anybody else would be able to click on that. What this also does, again, we're reconsidering the user experience. What does this mean to us and the end user? Well, at the end of this presentation, folks, we are at 2 hours and 23 minutes. Just know, and I'll get your question in just a second, Ray, just know that all of you who are watching, when I click stop broadcast, you won't see anything anymore. But
the whole thing for my friend that's a contractor. So what would you recommend going back to? Because I want to start with the YouTube channel forum, the Google Plus, the whole thing, and tie it all together. And then this is an excellent tool for communicating and educating your consumer. So that way, how do you differentiate from the other plumbers? This is what we do for you. And so,
yes.
One of the questions I have is, one of the questions is, I have one of your other products, and I don't know if you want to name products or not, that gives a lot of details on that I have to go back through a method program, if you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll go back through that on how to set up the channel and do all of the stuff. But do you have any other tips other than reviewing this or doing it from a professional level?
Yeah.
For the business.
Feel free to go back through Tube Method, because it's going to be a lot of the same stuff I'm showing you anyway. This would be like, basically just go back and watch session 1, and you'll know everything that you need to do, because it includes any kind of additional updates that might be missed in the previous content, right? As far as the setup goes, what's the name of the company?
It's James J. Rybzyk, and it's a funny last name, RYBCZYK.
Oh, okay. And that's the name of his company?
That's the name of his company, yeah. And so,
okay.
But he's not technical, and so, but
right.
It has to be done. And I like technical.
Cool, great. So, I would recommend going through session 1 as the best refresher with the most updated content. But you're essentially going to go in through just as you, Ray, and then you're going to go over to YouTube and create a new YouTube channel, just like I show you in that first session. And when you create that channel, it'll automatically create the Google Plus page. So at that point, what you want to do is that you want to tell your friend, say, hey, I'm going to send you an invitation, and that invitation is going to be an invitation to be the manager of the Google Plus page. This makes him feel like he has control, right? You're still going to be doing everything, but he still gets to be the owner, right? So because a lot of people get nervous with like control and technology, and this is my baby. So let him know that, rest assured, he will have ownership, but you're going to be the guy that's pulling all the strings, so to speak. And that's how it starts out, right? So you get that going, and then you need to verify the YouTube channel so you can do live Hangouts on air, which requires his help as well, which is just, hey, you're going to get a text message from Google, and you need to tell me what that verification code is so you can verify the channel, and then everything basically turns on, right? YouTube doesn't see that you're a spammer or anything like that, so live Hangouts on air come on, events, custom thumbnails, the whole 9 yards, right? So you got to verify first. And then at that point, then at that point, you're going to go into the YouTube channel, set up the Hangout, like I show you in that same session, and then from there, you are going to send them that same link, same type of link like I sent you, that big long one, and that'll pull them right into the Hangout, and then you can have your meeting like we did like beforehand, and then say, okay, we're going to go live now. Are you ready to go? You click live, and you're on your way.
Okay. I have the Webinar Fusion Pro, so we did a test of that, and that worked.
Oh.
I like that. Great. So I have that. I have all of Nick's stuff. So I'm going to just put it all together and make it happen, because I just don't see anybody in the industry taking advantage of it. I appreciate it, and all this has just been excellent, and I'm much more comfortable with taking it to the next level.
That was the goal. I'm so glad to hear that.
Right on. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. No, nobody's asked.